This is really why I focus. It means that it is to look at their positioning, their core message, who they are talking to. It is what is their distribution. I focus a lot on organic instead of, spending a lot in that advertising, because I think that there is a lot you can do with organic. And then the last step is to help them to implement AI automation for their non-coder teams so that they can scale and accelerate their growth. That's what I cover.
Hello there, and welcome to Skyman and a Bug. I'm the Bug, and that is
the Skyman.
We are here to build relationships, technology, and work on the many wonders of being a business owner and a nutcase. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to you listening to us, laughing with us, and taking the journey with us as we build businesses and relationships. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to another episode of Skyman and a Bug. My name is Nikkei Roach. Of course, I am the Bug, and my partner in alliance and crime and all kinds of fun things in between is Josh, the
Skyman Schminsky.
Thank you very much for being here. Thank you all of our listeners who are loyal and are slightly nutty. We are the cross section between communication, relationship building in the tech, in the healthcare, and all the things that are fun about living in life. And today we get to talk with another leader. We don't get to talk with a lot of folks who have a very unique last name. And she'll probably explain a little bit more. Line, I'm Tousignant. Did I say it correctly?
Tousignant. Yeah, you got it.
French is not my natural language, as you can tell. So I wanted to welcome you to the episode and to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for being here. So we're going to get out here dirty and everything like that. So we might ask an odd question. So it's not going to be anything.
Just one?
Yeah, it's just one maybe. But it's designed to uplift you and it's going to throw you off guard, but it's not going to be anything weird. So
okay. I'm scared now.
Oh, good.
Don't be scared.
No, don't worry about it. It's teasing. All right. So just quickly in what makes sense. Tell us a little bit more about you and what makes you amazing in what you do on this planet. And I know you were formerly in Montreal, but now you're in New York. But maybe there's a story in between that. So take us away.
Yeah, well, maybe more than 25 years of experience could explain where I'm coming from. So my whole career has been spent in the world of strategy and marketing. And that's the reason why actually I came to New York. For 5 years, I joined a company as head of strategy, was a web agency. Mm-hmm. Before that, I was doing consulting, and now I am back to consulting.
Cool. So I looked on your website, and you've worked with some major brands out there in the marketplace. What was that like?
It's interesting because, I work with a lot of small businesses too. And at the end of the day, the problems are the same. They are just bigger when the company is bigger. So a lot of, lack of communication between departments, the same type of challenges, the same type of where there are some misses, for example, especially when you work in strategy, you really push on your customers to make sure that they understand who their customers are. Mm-hmm. And most of the time, they don't know. they think they do, but they don't know, and they have to learn a lot. And it was the same thing in the large companies. Just bigger budget, which was the interesting part.
More zeros, and lots more people to adhere to. So within and marketing and strategy, sometimes that gets confusing. And I'll be honest, until I recently took a course, I was sort of getting a little confused because it's not necessarily the execution. It's way beyond that. Talk us if a small business or a large, well-known brand that I'm not going to name drop, but they can go to your website and they can actually see all the name brands and some of the smaller companies you've worked with. What are some of the strategies that you've seen, or that maybe small companies may have overlooked that may have already been kind of worked through in some of the bigger companies that you say, hey, you may, although your budget might be a little bit and you have less people, what is the similarities there?
Well, I think that there are many similarities. The thing is, maybe at first make the difference between a business strategy versus marketing strategy. Those are two different things. And, when you think about the business strategy, it is the business model itself, but it is also what is the positioning? How do they compare to the competition? And many companies do the mistake of not spending a lot of time on there, and it is really the foundation to be able to say exactly this is how we are different and this is where we can compete the best. And the other common mistake is to not define their customers very clearly. They have, and you see this even in large corporation, where if I've been working in the beauty industry, for example, and they would say, well, we are targeting the women between X age and X age, and professionals, and this is very generic. You need to push this much further than that to really, and people are afraid to be too narrow, but it's the opposite. You want to be very narrow, because then from there you can grow and you can have a broader audience. But if you start strong in one place, you're going to grow faster than if you try to address everybody at the same time. And those challenges are the same in large companies and in small companies.
So you tried to identify a company's blue ocean niche.
Yeah. Yes, it's very important. And sometimes it's, it can be a small thing that will make a huge difference in what will be the action plan after that, how they will implement, where they will focus. It can totally shift the business. It can go up to the point to shift the business model. I've seen that. So it's a very big step.
So let me back it up a little bit. So Lynn, you're a 6-year-old in Montreal. Talk us through Lynn's 6-year-old and how do we get to where you are now? I thought it'd be an odd question. How did you go into that? So when you were at home, little girl, obviously speaking French, which I love the language, but it's a challenge for me to speak. But what was that like, you and then progressing into strategy, marketing, and really helping both local as well as well-known brands globally? What is your backstory? I mean, how did you get into this stuff?
Well, at 6 years old, I was living in a small place called Trois-Rivières, which is halfway between Montreal and Quebec City. Nobody speaks English in Trois-Rivières, so I didn't either. I don't know. I think that it was never enough. I always wanted to do more. And, as I grew up as a teenager, my poor parents, that was not very easy. But, at one point I just decided that I wanted to go from Trois-Rivières to Montreal because I wanted to be in a bigger city with more opportunities. And I always had been interested in advertising, marketing, and I was able to find work in the industry, and this is how it started. So then, my career advanced when I was in Montreal. Then I decided to have a startup, and from there it led me to New York. Short story, long story short.
It's a very cohesive story.
So I got a question. So are you a Nordique or are you a Canadian fan growing up?
Canadian, yeah. I'm born in Canada, and I don't know, my ancestors were certainly French with the Line Tousignant, but
Cool.
So if what are some of the I guess one of the biggest thing is what is the mistakes that you see, say just starting out, and a company just starting out off the back. They're brand new, they're owner operated, they don't have that many people in their organization, and they're looking to advance way beyond where they are, whether they're in Canada or they're in Mexico or they're in the UK or here in the States. What is a common, and I hate to beat on the mistakes because I think sometimes mistakes are where you learn. What are some of the common mistakes that you've seen? And this is at the granular level. This goes, I mean, you went high end, but let's go a little lower than that. And sort of, what are some of the mistakes that can be avoided? And you spoke about being very narrow, but what are some of the other mistakes that we're getting very specific on that you can take somebody who's literally, listening to this podcast, they have their company, they have a great idea, they have they have some revenues coming in, not a lot yet, but they have enough to sustain and pay for their payroll and all the other good stuff. What are some of the mistakes that you think that they need to do today before they go out and spend all this money on a strategy or marketing or wherever it goes from there?
Well, at that level, I would say it's often for the founder to let go.
Woo.
And they
Say that again.
tend,
Say that again. Say, oh,
to
no,
let
no, no.
go. To
Say
say,
that one more time for the other
the
people in this
founder to let
podcast who's
go.
listening.
Yeah, it's because when it is your own baby, you
My
used
goodness,
to.
Lynn, you are speaking the gospel. You know who you're speaking to, right? You're speaking to
I
Josh.
guess that I need to learn more.
No, you're speaking to Josh right now. But continue to speak into it because that is literally the challenge we have. Go ahead. I'm sorry for interruption.
Yeah. So it's one of the things I learned in my career actually. But when you try to control everything, you cut yourself from opportunities. So because the thing that, especially when it depends on how many employees you have, of course, but if we're talking about a small team, the best way it is to say, I work with my team and it's open communication. There is no cut, and this is what I think, this is where I want to go. Challenge me. And I had a rule when, the first time that I had to manage a team of, or there was about 30 something employees, and they were all reporting to me, which was nonsense, which I changed. But because of what I had seen before, it's challenging to do it because it's scary to do it. But I said, if there is any decision I make and you think that I am wrong, I want you to walk in my office and tell me, Lynn, you're wrong. And I said, now we have a job. Either you convince me to do otherwise, or I convince you. It's one has to convince the other. And if we don't get there, well, I'm still the one who's going to have to make the decision, and I will make the decision. But I will listen. And it's the best way, first, because people get very engaged. And the second point is that it happened. I had to change my mind on a few things because I was just like, okay, this is what and they would come to me and say, no. And because they are on the front line. So they see things that you don't necessarily see. They hear things. And then it happened more than once that they came to me and they convinced me. And I said, okay, let's erase this and
Stop
let's do it your
smirking.
way.
I am ready for Josh's rebuttal to that. Go ahead, Josh. Jump in.
All I have is stop smirking.
Okay, so in true transparency, Josh is the founder of Solutions Afoot. So if you didn't know that yet, so when you were speaking that just now, you were literally giving him a coaching session. Because it's a challenge sometimes.
Try it, Josh. Honestly, it's worth it. It's challenging, but worth it.
It definitely is. It's challenging. So now that we've kind of got that out of the way, tell me something this, and I know it sounds strange, something that's juicy that you like want to really get into with a small business. Like, let me get into the bowels of your company to make you amazing. Talk me through those nice things. You're like, that's a perfect client. That's a perfect scenario. This is where my skill set, my superpower, really comes out.
Um, well, when the decision makers are open first, I think that it's very important, open to listen to different point of view, and and when they are willing to take some risk. Um, I'm a I'm a big fan of innovation, so sometimes I push people towards new things. But I think that it's where you find things, and where I really enjoy the work. It's when if there are 3 or 4 decision makers in a company.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Usually, my first meeting, the kickoff meeting with them, is that I do it only if they are all in the room. And it is usually a 2-hour session.
Hmm.
The reason why I do this, and it is also something, that I learned along the way that I was not doing at first. But the reason why I'm doing this, it's because companies, as soon as they have enough employees, they start working in silos. And this is totally counterproductive. And the bigger the company, the bigger the silos. And I have been, when I was working with large corporation, sometimes I would force a meeting with 10, 12 people in the room. And with a 2-hour session, you exactly see where they are in disagreement.
Mm-hmm.
You exactly see where there are gaps in communication.
Mm-hmm.
And then for me, it becomes my blueprint. It becomes, okay, I know where I have to work. I know where I need to help them to start, the collaboration,
Mm-hmm.
because this is how they can make real progress.
Hmm.
So usually that's this is where I have a lot of fun.
So, what has been the biggest challenge for you, just professionally, if you've evolved from coming from small town in Canada and then going to Quebec, bigger cities, and then New York, and and have an influence in major cities around the globe because of your background in the in beauty and those and cosmetics. And I'm not saying any brands, but if you go to our website, you'll get what I'm talking about because there's some well-known brands there. What has been the challenge for you? The biggest challenges you've had, both professionally or even personally. Just sometimes people like the biggest challenge for me is I have an affinity to fish sandwiches, which has affected my weight, but that's a personal challenge. How about you? What is the biggest professional challenge you've had, or maybe even a personal challenge that you'd like to share?
um Moving from Montreal to New York. Sorry, I'm laughing because I'm thinking about something that happened in that time. But anyways, the moving from Montreal to New York was not a challenge for me. I was just very excited about it. The first time in my life I came to New York City, I said, "This is home. I have to live here." And then I just worked on it. It took me a while, but I worked on it, and it happened. But I think that my biggest challenge, during my career, and especially when I was not the leader, was to have the patience because I tend to move fast, make decision,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes some top manager may not especially appreciate that because they feel that you are stepping on their toes, and so that was a personal challenge for me to to not push too hard when I was seeing that something could work better than what we were doing in the company. Sorry.
Sorry, it's a private thing.
it's a going joke. You are speaking to Josh all up and me at the same time. So we because
I was not expecting that.
it's weird because I have been in the role that Josh has been in the past. So as the second, as the lieutenant to him in the company, it's sometimes challenging. And then Josh now leading the team is sometimes the dynamics get to be interesting. It's like, oh man, and then you have to step back and let the captain of the ship, kind of run everything. But at the same time, you sort of gotta
Repeat that.
remind him that we gotta go forward, buddy. Oh, I get it. But I wanted to shift since one of the premises of our show is really about relationship and building relationship, because some folks have difficulty either building relationships professionally and even maintaining them. And it seems like within your career, you've built, strong relationships, both from a branding perspective, from a professional standpoint. And I don't know about your personal life, but there may be some strong relationships that you built, where people who support you and uplift you and stuff like that. Talk us through your formula for building or building a relationship. Like, say you came to New York for the first time. That's a new city. Unless you call the head and you have a friend or a family who happen to live in the city, how did that go around so that you can start really, making inroads into your development?
Well, when I came to New York, as I said, it was really to take a specific role, which was the head of strategy for a company called Valtech. And in a way, I have been lucky because I had some contacts in New York, but they were not necessarily in the same field, that was related to my role.
Mm-hmm.
But when I say that I've been lucky, is that I was not the sales rep, that really, really need to build relationship and fast. So it was instead, it was instead the sales team that would pull me in meetings. And I had the best role because I was coming in as the expert that would, give them some guidance, ask them some question, challenge. So by my role, it was making it almost easier to build a relationship with people because we really had to go quickly to dig into their strategy, what they were doing, what they were not doing, but there's a challenge that they have, and so on. So, but if we take this at a different level, maybe the one thing that I would like to mention when it comes to building relationship, I feel that now it's becoming more and more challenging, because I don't know how is your LinkedIn, but personally, if I receive another email telling me that they're going to give me leads, I will scream. Just
Preach.
Oh my God, man, I got to go through those
please.
every day.
Daily.
I know. It's so you want to find the people, that you want to build relationship with. And of course, you want to find people that could be potential customers or people that maybe could be good advisors. But that's what you're looking for. But there are so many people and so much of the content is AI and AI and AI that I feel that it is becoming more difficult to build, new relationship. And it's a challenge because also other people have the same reaction that I have, which is like, oh, leave me alone, stop sending me, I think it becomes a challenge. And because of this, I think that gradually people will go back to private communities and will build smaller communities.
I agree. In our evolution, we did similar attitudes. We were very much forward focused and using all those things that you had disclosed. Yeah, we were one of those guys who hired one of those people to do some of that stuff. But then we went back to our roots, and this is how Josh and I met. We met at a business event, and we built a relationship, and that grew and grew and grew to a friendship, and then into a partnership, and then we're now we're growing. So I think you're right. It's those smaller communities. It's not, oh, you have 50,000 followers, but what does that really mean? You know,
Exactly.
if it's not really building a relationship, or even if it's building a relationship, maybe it's building the wrong kind of relationship. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
No, I mean, the number of followers you have, how many people in your number of followers that connected with you and then never talk to you again? So what
Literally,
it's
I think
that's the majority.
most of
That's
the
the
people do that.
majority.
I think
Yeah.
most people do that.
So collecting followers is just honestly useless. It's better to have less people and people that have, are quality connection,
Mm,
good quality, meaning that they can refer you, they can help you somehow, or they can, or you can help them, they can. So just, this is the kind of relationship that we need to build.
okay. So
This is,
weird curveball again. So get yourself nervous. What is a weird habit that you have? Um, Again, I have disclosed mine. I have a thing for fish sandwich. What Josh has an affinity for bad Mexican food,
That is not true.
but apparently he likes a lot of bistro. So he tend to can find a bistro in any town that makes the best anywhere. But he has a bad choice of Mexican foods. But that's beside the
That is not true.
point. So, Lynn, what is a weird habit that you have that is sort of like,
um,
oh yeah, some people like to play in the dirt, some people like to go and whatever. What is your slightly weird habit?
um, well, if you were talking about food, so then I can tell you that every Christmas, people who don't know me look at me like, what? Because I eat my meat pies with molasses.
What is really?
Yeah, that is so good.
That is yes, that yeah, that is slightly out there. Okay, you got me on that one. That you were the first person ever. Yeah, yeah, I've ever met who did. That's
Never
good.
heard of that one before.
I've never heard that
Yeah,
one.
I know. Yeah, it's
Oh,
running in my family.
it's like whoa. Okay, we'll go with that. All right, so bringing it back to the professional sector. If somebody is listening to this podcast and they really want to communicate with you, what is one thing you want them to do before they reach out? Go to your website, find you on LinkedIn or wherever, and we'll allow you to tell everybody how to find you. But what is one thing you want either a large organization or a small business to do before they even contact you and really contemplate first?
Well, I mean, I think that it should be because they are interested in growing their business, because it's really my focus. And I think that they should have at the minimum, what is their goal, and what is the top priority, and who they are targeting. Those will be the first question I will ask anyway.
But what if they don't know yet? I mean, like I said, we got some people who might have gotten lucky, and they're just like, hey, they only have a few people, but they don't quite know those questions. They might have just gone broad. How that's what I mean. Like, what if they don't know yet, and they come to you and say, well, I don't know really, and I don't have time to figure this out. How do you
Well,
handle that one?
I think that with AI now, they can do a lot of research with AI, especially Perplexity, that is very accurate.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't hallucinate too much,
Mm-hmm.
comparing sometimes to others. But really to make research and to look at who are the competitors, looking at their website and say, what is their core message? Who are they talking to? How does it compare to what I do? I think that it's the place where they can start
Mm-hmm.
to really understand. Because if the thing is that, and I had that with some course creators, because I also sometimes work with small solopreneur, but one of the thing is, if you are offering an online course, let's say that it is a marketing online course. How many marketing online courses are out there?
A
You're
lot.
just a commodity. It's just a commodity. And the only thing that can make a difference is the teacher. The teaching style, their approach, who they are. and then it becomes their differentiator. So it's a very simple example, but it's just to show it's possible to find it. When you start looking at the competitor, start at looking what is the key message that they have, who seems to be their customers, or who do they seem to want to have as a customer, and then starting comparing to themselves and say, okay, what can I say as a business that will offer the same service or the same product, but it should not be the same. It should be similar. And what is the key difference that will attract, some people, not everybody.
Yeah, because you may not want everybody.
Exactly.
Or you want more people, but you may not be ready for everybody. Because I funny you should mention I was I was doing a pitch competition, and I asked one of the individuals who were one wonderful college student, and I asked a question. They have a product and it's wonderful, it's very individualized, but I said, what happens when you have 10,000 customers? And it was like, oh wow, okay, maybe I don't want everybody right now. Maybe I should figure out what it's like to have 10 customers, or 100, so something to that effect. So as we close, how do you want people to find you?
Well, they can find me either on LinkedIn or they can find me on my website, which is ltstrategy.co. And what I offer is really for small businesses. It's really strategic growth. This is really why I focus. It means that it is to look at their positioning, their core message, who they are talking to. It is what is their distribution. I focus a lot on organic instead of spending a lot in that advertising, because I think that there is a lot you can do with organic. And then the last step is to help them to implement AI automation for their non-coder teams so that they can scale and accelerate their growth. That's what I cover.
That's what you cover. So reversing the question, tell us what makes this teacher better than all the other teachers out there.
Good question. I like your question. That's a good one. So, because I did it for myself first, I think that it's the difference. When I see that I do AI implementation for non-coders, I am a non-coder, and you should see how many things are automated in my operation. So I have a team that is integrated in all my systems. And I'm not paying for 20 subscriptions, which is another issue for many companies.
Yeah, I think you are different. This teacher is different because there is a lot out there. You can do all this, but you can get out of hand with some of those subscriptions real quick. Present company included, by the way.
Yeah. I've been there. I have been there, but now I have a system where, even if we talk specifically about the content strategy, my AI research the topics that are relevant, do the first draft, I modify to make sure it's my tone of voice and it is personalized. Then the AI creates the asset, the reels, the video, everything, publish, track, measure, give me reports, and I'm just hands off. It's done.
Meaning you could run your entire team, if you will, without hiring an entire team.
Yeah, well, that's this is my team. I have that person. I have another, not person, but AI. I have another to manage my emails. I have another to manage my Google Analytics, and it just I prefer to focus on spending time with my customer than doing all of those things that are very time consuming.
Extremely time consuming. And
Yeah.
you're right, because in that grand scheme of things, another like or follower will not move the needle, but that relationship and spending more time with your customers, finding out what's their challenge, and to be able to talk to them, and I mean really talk to them, as opposed to hey, the superficial conversations that have out.
Yeah.
Cool. Josh, you got one more? All righty. Well, well, Lynn, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for your insights. Thank you for speaking to some people on the podcast. and, and thank you for being so gracious that we had to, reschedule because there were some technical difficulties last time. So thank you very much. All right.
Thank you for having me. It was really fun. Thank you.
You're
Thanks for
welcome.
joining us.
Thank you very much. And you, our loyal listeners, thank you very much for being here at another episode of Skyman and a Bug. Make sure you plug into us on all your social channels because we're out there somewhere. But you can find us, of course, on Spotify and YouTube and Apple and some of the other places like that. So we'll see you next time. And, stay strong, stay fun, and keep smiling.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
You've been listening to
The Skyman
and the Bug. We appreciate you being here. Join us again for another episode of Skyman and a Bug. And if you have any questions, reach out to us either on LinkedIn, Facebook, and other places that you just try to find us.
Take care.
Bye.